The prisoner transport ship Vindication hummed through the void between star systems, its hull scarred by countless battles across the outer rim. In its reinforced holding bay, two figures sat shackled to the bulkhead. Humans, a rarity this, far from Earth's protective sphere. Liza Chen pressed her back against the cold metal wall, her dark eyes scanning the alien guards who lounged near the entrance. Her wrists bore fresh bruises from the neural restraints, but her jaw remained, set with defiant determination. Beside her, James Rodriguez tested his bonds for the 100th time, his engineering background making him acutely aware of every bolt, seam, and weakness in their prison. Transport duration to Kepler Station. 14 rotations, announced the ship's AI in the clicking language of the Zephyrian Empire. The translation implant behind Liza's ear converted the words with a slight delay. Captain Vexitar, a 7-foot reptilian with iridescent scales and 4 arms, entered the holding bay with his characteristic swagger. His species, the Zephyrians, had conquered 12 systems in the past decade, and humans were considered nothing more than exotic specimens, valuable for their rarity, disposable for their weakness. The human female, Vexitar hissed, his forked tongue tasting the air. High Command is particularly interested in your physiology. Liza met his gaze without flinching. Sorry to disappoint, but dissecting me won't teach you anything useful. The captain's laugh was a harsh rasp. You misunderstand, little mammal. We know exactly what humans are capable of. Very little. He gestured to his guards, hulking creatures with chitinous armor and plasma weapons. Your entire species has managed to colonize what? 3 systems? 4? We conquered your outer colonies in less than a solar cycle. James shifted beside her, and Liza caught the subtle signal. 3 taps against the wall. He'd found something. The restraints were designed for the typically larger alien prisoners, not for human anatomy. You're right, Liza said, drawing Vexitar's attention. We're not particularly impressive. No natural armor, no enhanced strength, no telepathic abilities. Just humans. Vexitar moved closer, his predatory instincts engaged. Yet your military fought with surprising tenacity. Even when outgunned and outnumbered, human soldiers refused to surrender. Most curious. Behind them, James worked methodically at his restraints, his calloused hands finding purchase where alien appendages would fail. 20 years as a deep space engineer had taught him that every system had a weakness. You just had to be patient enough to find it. Maybe, Liza continued, that's because we're too stupid to know when we're beaten. The captain's eyes narrowed. Perhaps there is something your species hiding. The way human vessels fought in the Procyon system, ramming our dreadnoughts when their weapons failed, using their own ships as projectiles. He leaned closer, his breath reeking of sulfur. No species fights like that unless they have something worth protecting. Or nothing left to lose, Liza replied. That was when Captain Vexitar made his fatal error. Convinced of his superiority, intoxicated by the hunt, he reached out with one scaled hand and grabbed Liza's chin, forcing her to look up at him. The transformation was instantaneous. Liza's pupils dilated as her adrenal system flooded her bloodstream with hormones that had been refined by millions of years of evolution. Her heart rate doubled, her pain tolerance skyrocketed, and muscle fibers throughout her body contracted with the desperate strength of a cornered predator. She twisted her wrist. James had just freed her left hand, and drove her thumb into the pressure point behind Vexitar's primary wrist joint. The captain's grip loosened for a fraction of a second, but that was enough. Liza drove her knee upward with the force of a piston, catching the alien in his vulnerable throat region. As he staggered backward, gasping, she yanked the plasma pistol from his belt and rolled behind the nearest bulkhead support. The guards reacted with trained efficiency, but they had made the same mistake as their captain. They had underestimated what humans became when cornered. James, now fully free of his restraints, tackled the nearest guard low and hard, using his compact build to get inside the creature's reach. His hands found the alien's weapon, and muscle memory from his mandatory military service took over. The firefight lasted exactly 37 seconds. When the plasma bolt stopped flying, 2 humans stood among the bodies of their captors, breathing heavily but very much alive. "Status report," James said, checking his newly acquired weapon. Liza was already at the control panel, her fingers dancing across alien interfaces with the adaptability that had made humans the galaxy's premier engineers and pilots. "Ship's automated minimal crew. I can override the navigation system and redirect to human space." "How long until they notice we've changed course?" "About 6 hours, assuming they're not paying attention." James nodded, then looked down at Captain Vextar's body. He almost had it right. "We do have something worth protecting." "What's that?" "Each other." As the Vindication altered course toward human space, its automated logs recorded the incident with clinical precision. "Cargo containment failure. Recommendation: increase security protocols for human specimens. Note: subjects displayed unexpected combat effectiveness when threatened. Suggest reclassification from harmless curiosity to potential threat." The log entry would later become required reading at Zephyrian military academies, usually accompanied by the cautionary note: never underestimate a species simply because they seem physically inferior. Humans have survived on one of the galaxy's most hostile worlds for millennia. They are not weak. They are patient. And when patience runs out... The lecture always ended the same way. Do not touch the humans. Do not threaten what they protect. And never ever assume they are helpless simply because they appear small. Some lessons, the instructors noted grimly, were learned too late. The Vindication reached human space 3 days later, carrying 2 survivors and a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humanity was not prey. They were something far more dangerous. They were the species that refused to stay down. And sometimes that made all the difference.